This review is on the movie In the Forest. I'm the angry guy. I'm going to tell you like it is. Stan is Helen's dad and Emily's grandfather. Helen's daughter is Emily. They don't get along too well. Gary and Pamela are married. Gary and Pamela's children are Andrew and Natalie. Howard is the landowner. I think the uncle to Andrew and Natalie. I'm not sure. I give indie films a lot of freedom of fucking up and accepting the final cut, but damn, this movie, gee whiz. First of all, in the film In the Forest, the actors tried their best and did a hell of a job to show their individual talents, which I definitely noticed in 4 of them. There's a total lack of responsibility keeping up with the content of the script and treating the audience like dumbasses. Director and director's scribbled writing showed no respect for the actors and the spectators who totally wasted 83 minutes of their lives. Hector Barron had an opportunity to create a legitimate low-budget film, but failed. A person who had a job and responsibility for others should try their best and not waste it on shoddy and lazy work. When a person gets a break in show business, one does not waste it away in pure garbage. Only reason for doing such a shitty job, a person has family money or don't have any responsibility because they don't realize people, real human beings, depend on them doing their best to make a living or advance their careers. To prove my point, right off the bat, the poster is total bullshit in showing the type of weapon she is carrying, and who in the hell is that in the poster? At the very beginning of the movie, the laziness presented its ugly head by parking and camping in the middle of a road, claiming that it was an actual campsite. To me, it looked like they didn't have a permit to film at that particular location, so they quickly filmed the different scenes that suggested they were at a campsite while people were down the road from both ends of the motor coach with walkie-talkies, letting the director know if any vehicles were approaching. I have camped for years in a canvas tent and only takes minutes to set up a tent nowadays, especially the ones with supporting poles on the outside. When a person is out in the wilds, you would never leave your camp by itself to go fishing in a fast running stream, because a person can't catch any fish in a swift running stream unless the salmon are going upstream to spawn. Plus, fishing salmon while spawning is dishonorable and disrespectful, like this movie. Even in the 1970s, we never left anything outside the tent or on a picnic table when we left camp. The giant motor coach looked stuck in a hole like if it was like a tractor was stuck in a field mouse's home. For Pete's sake, try rocking the motor coach back and forth, and don't be stupid by placing 2 large logs in front of the rear wheel to drive the motor coach out of the hole. Gee. Hey, dickhead, when trying to pull itself out of the hole and an unexperienced or non-experienced driver is at the steering wheel, you do not stand directly behind the rear wheel, so if anything in front of that wheel shoots out and hits them, well, that's what happened. If a person gets hit in the arm injury, they still can direct the motor coach driver out of the hole by standing at the safe distance from the side of the spinning wheel. During the light of day and the dark of night, a person does not leave the door open to the RV and constantly leave the lights inside the RV on. Out in the wilderness and making a major decision, do not separate, or one or all will die. When Helen, mother of Emily, decided to look for the house where the landowner lived, she did something halfway smart. She marked her trail with red cups on a small stumps. By the way, it was a fur distance between the landowner's house and the stuck motor coach. How in the world the landowner know people were camping on his property? I don't know. Maybe he seen some smoke coming out in the woods by the smoke of their campfire. I don't know. Oh yeah, when a person don't know the area and trying to find a place in the middle of the woods, a person does not constantly keep turning around in circles while walking in the woods to find their destination. Gee, that's how you get lost. Needing help and looking for any type of house, especially in the wilderness, look for electric and telephone lines going to the house or a large group of wires from the underground attaching to somewhere on the house. Why didn't Helen look through the large crack in the door upstairs where the boy was a prisoner? I don't know. Helen should have escaped out of the room where she was hiding and ran out the house when the landowner went into the trapped boy's room to feed him. That old, dilapidated house would have creaked with every step a person would have took. During one scene, Helen took off running on foot. Why not jump on the ATV and ride to the house to use the pickup? The landowner, Howard, who had the rifle and was tied up by Emily, he wasn't thinking. All he had to do was lean forward and untie his ankles while the young girl who had the rifle was inside the motor coach talking to her grandfather. Helen cut the harness off the boy, but a few scenes later, Pamela had Helen in the same harness, which was attached to the recoil cable machine. Bathroom door in RV cannot be locked from the outside. It has to be the inside. It can't be locked from the outside. Oh my goodness, the RV battery went dead. Oh my goodness, how'd that happen? Maybe because the lights were on all the time during the day and night. When Pamela pulled up in the pickup, there should have been one car and two ATVs at the campsite. What I seen was only one vehicle, the motor coach. Why did Pamela wash her hands in the creek instead of in the sink in the motor coach? There was multiple tracks, I imagine practice runs, in the field already when Pamela was chasing Helen in the field, supposedly for the first and only time. When Emily and Andrew entered the house, the phone earpiece was attached to the phone. When Emily and Andrew found his sister, why didn't Emily use the phone since it was workable at that time? How many times did Helen run from the motor coach to the farmhouse and from the farmhouse to the motor coach? Too many times, that's how many. Would I recommend to watch this film in the forest? No way, man. No. The film was pasted together like a montage of how not to direct and produce and write a film. The acting was okay, but the movie was so filled with holes that would never made it out of the harbor, let alone hitting critics a corner. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate you viewing and value your comments. Thank you.